Okay, so let's start by preparing our ESC. Just one thing to note, I'm actually going to remove this signal wire twisted pair and plug completely and replace it with a piece of 30 gauge silicone wire, and I'm going to solder that straight onto the flight controller. I just find it makes for a nicer, neater build. Taking your curved tip scissors, just run that under the heat shrink. Make sure that you don't dig the tip of the scissors into the board, and just run that along the heat shrink like that. You can peel this back like so, revealing the board underneath. Now you can start by desoldering all the stuff that we don't want on there. A little bit of solder on the end of our soldering tip. Okay, so remove that, get all that off, flip that over, do the same here. Okay, making sure to remove as much of this old solder as possible. Okay. Then we can dilute this old solder with some new fresh solder, like so. Okay. Let's put a little bit more fresh solder down on the signal pad, like so. Okay, just be careful, obviously, to inspect the board afterwards. Okay, just make sure that you haven't got solder on any of the components. Also be careful those little components between the solder pads themselves. Just make sure that you don't get any solder on that, because that will obviously short something out. One last thing I like to do, just add a little bit of solder onto the soldering tip again, heat this up and just angle that in by 45 degrees. You'll see why now when we start to route the wires through the paracord. Okay, so that's done. Now all we need to do is flip this over and take our length of silicone wire, cut this to 150 mils. We will trim this shorter later, but I prefer just to leave a little bit to play with. Trim that back, just move that out the way for the moment so you don't get solder on it, and just turn that, turn it again. Cool. Bring that there. Just add our signal wire onto the board. Done. Okay. That's all the soldering done on our board. Just once again, just inspect, make sure that there's nothing, we haven't got any solder splashing on it. Okay. Then move all that out the way. Take our length of paracord, just pull out that center bit that we don't need, and you'll see now why I decided to just reroute those power leads on at that 45 degree. I route all the wires together nicely, neatly. Okay, getting that signal wire down the center, like so. Then I just feed the signal wire down, feed that in. You will see this is a little bit fiddly, but I think something that is definitely well worth the effort. You'll find that you can get your wires to seat and sit in place where you want them, just with the paracord. because this doesn't have a memory, so you can bend it and leave it in any orientation you need. Just run that right up to the edge of the board like that, and that's your ESC done and prepped. We'll trim these wires to length once we've got them placed on the board.